All right. See, is that any better? What's up, Simple Grower? Let me see if I get the comments up on here now. All right. All right. I think that's a little better. Let's see. I'm sharing my screen. Sorry about that. I was trying some new software. Always trying to do something different. Somebody showed me it was Lightstream, and it's just not working with my computer. But I'm gonna come on. We had a drawing a contest. That better? Thanks, Jim. Much better. All righty. I'm gonna have to go with that. Christopher, how are you doing? Alvarez, Jim, and Simple Grower. How's everybody going? How's everyone doing? All right, I know it's Sunday. Everybody's doing a lot of things. You got football and everything. So I was just going to do the quick drawing because it ended yesterday and everybody's been a little bit anxious about it. Hey, Bushcrafter, how are you doing? So what we did was I had a drawing for two of these, a two pack, two of them. And my wife painted this one out. It's a little grower. I've got one of those, and both of those come with the nutrients, so everything you need to get started. And then I've got another was for 60 of these because these are like the real tough net cups, not the little cheap ones. Um, yeah, Lightstream. I was giving it a try. It looked pretty good. I had it all set up and had all the scenes set up, and you can do a lot more than StreamYard. But when I just went on, maybe I didn't have the settings right, so I might have to mess around with those again, do another test stream. Maybe I'll do that on the Creator Spotlight show on the other channel I have. Yeah, great weather. That's why I'm excited to get out here and start growing. And it just cooled down. We can, sit out there at night, and have a little drink and that and not be sweating your butt off. So it's been really nice the last couple of days. But I'm going to have the drawing. I'm going to draw for this first. We have 60 of those. And then this will be second. And then I have third and fourth. And I was wanting to see if I could do screen share on here and you guys can see at the same time that I'm doing the drawing. I love growing deep water culture in the winter. Yep, makes awesome vegetables. Yeah, it's especially here in Florida. I mean, we've had last year like 2 days of frost, and that was it. And we didn't have to bring everything in. I just went and threw a couple sheets over it. And usually we were living on a ranch like 2 or 3 years ago. But if you look at my channel, you look like the first year that I put out videos, and it was out in the middle of a field. So any frost or whatever, we felt it all. And uh, there were several days we had to like dump them out, take stuff inside, and bring stuff back outside. Bushcrafter finally getting down to 60s at night. Yeah, back up 98 in the week. Yeah, it is getting hot though, so we're kind of enjoying it. I'm not getting too anxious. I've got a little bit of pak choi that we're going to plan out. I'll have a video on that. I got a little lettuce. I just started just one. I bought one was romaine, and then I have another leaf lettuce, and we're just going to start with those right now because, like I said, it's getting hot again. Can't really tell what the weather's going to be like, especially here in Florida. I mean, we can go through the next couple of months and still stay in the 90s, but at least it's not getting up close to 100. It should cool down a little bit over here. I'm in North Florida, close to Georgia, but hopefully drop to 41 up this way. Awesome. I love the cooler weather. I don't like the cold weather. I don't like snow, but you stay around 50 degrees, and that's really awesome. Good morning from Australia. It's 7:13 here. Good morning, Marty. You just waking up? Cool. Yeah, I was just going to get on and have the little drawing for this. Let me go ahead and do a screen share, and I'll go ahead and draw for this real quick. We'll do one quick drawing and see if this works or not. Let's see. Screen share. There we go. See if y'all can see that. I don't know how big, if you are looking on your phones or anything, or see if you can see that, but I'm going to pop over here and hit. I haven't done this before. Let me see. Draw winners. All right, winners to draw for. Allow repeat winners. No. 4 winners for this. Already 123 people joined. And I forgot, I've been telling people when we had the drawing too, and even on there it says United States only. But let me hit draw and see what happens. See if it does all of them or just one. Might do all of them. So number 1 and number 2, number 3. So like I said, number 1 is going to be Leopolda Fowler. Live in El Dorado Forest. That's in Riverside, California. So Leopolda, let me write that down. Fowler wins 60 of the net cups. And the next one is Elizabeth Pierre is going to win that grower. I get them out. And that one's from Canada. I might have to do that one again. Alaska. Whoa, I'm going to have to mail it to Alaska. Might have to do one more drawing. I'll try that again. Gracie Santini. Grace Santini. And Dee Dee Sabin. All right, they're going to win the downspouts. And I haven't done this before. I thought that I went in there and removed everybody that had. That was out of the United States. Obviously, it didn't do it. Alrighty. Well, those are 1, 2, 3 the winners. I'm going to draw the last one, the one for the box. I'll have to go back in and redo it and get it to randomize and pick another name out of there to win this, because I thought I removed everyone. There was only a couple that weren't in the United States, but we'll go ahead and get those mailed off to those people. And let's see what else is going on here. Pop back up here. How long the dew points stay around mid-60s? I'm loving life. Has long the dew point. Yeah. As long. Okay, as long as it stays around there. Yep. Congratulations, everybody. Let's see. Hello. Okay, here's Hidden Harvest Grow Lights. Somebody back in the last stream when I started up, and it was not looking right. Somebody was asking about grow lights, and that I told him Brad, has the Hidden Harvest Grow Lights. If you look at my last video, you'll see the grow lights I was using for those. This is him right here. So if you click on the little 3 dots beside his name, you can go on over his YouTube channel and find out about his lights. Those are the ones that I'm using right now. Hey, Bonnie, how are you doing? Just popping on real quick. Hello to all from Puerto Rico. Congratulations to the winners. Hey, Hector, how are you doing? Cool, Puerto Rico. Yep. So what are y'all doing? Everybody growing, starting to grow? Y'all ready? Who's in our little section of the world, is getting ready for fall? It's we're getting a little excited. Like I said, this is Florida. We get a couple days of cool air, and then it might just be hot again. So we're starting with a little bit of collards, just a couple, some lettuces, the pak choy. We're going to get those planted out. And like I said, we're not going to go overboard because, like I said, it might just get really warm again. But what we do is keep all of our, my YouTube keeps closing. Sorry. That's okay. What we do is keep our microgreens. If you watch the other channels, the little microgreens that we grow in these containers, I keep those going all the time. That way you can always have some microgreens to eat. If you have a salad or sandwich and that, you can always put some on there, but you keep them going all the time. And then that way, if it does heat up and your crops die or you have to harvest them real quick, that you still have microgreens growing. And as soon as it cools down again, you can pull some of the microgreens out, put them right back in here and get started all over again. So if you guys get like these kind of systems started, it's getting to be winter here already. Oh, winter. Oh, wow. If you guys keep these kind of systems going, then you can grow leafy greens like in a couple of weeks, like 4 to 5 weeks. And while those are growing, you keep your microgreens growing. And then while you harvest, you can go through like one of these. If you keep them small like this and you keep several of them around, you can harvest one of these trays, and eat those. And then what you can do is take that and replant it out when you have like 2 or 3 growing at different stages. Harvest one of these. If you got microgreens growing, all you have to do is switch out the nutrient solution, put your microgreens in there. Those will start growing. And then you've got the other ones that are like at the different stages. Then you can eat the next one, replant that, eat the next one. And then you keep your microgreens. You can keep eating microgreens at the same time. And then you always have little transplants to go back into here. Then I don't know about y'all, but here in Florida, peppers and tomatoes they'll have out like most of the time, as far as like, the nurseries and Home Depot and Lowe's and that. But lettuces, all the tender crops that just grow in the spring and the fall, they'll come out for a couple of weeks. And if you don't get them when the nursery first brings them to them, the guys over here don't water it all the time. Within a couple of weeks and the heat here, you go in and sometimes there's just like thousands of plants are like dead. They're all drooping over and about to die, and you don't want to buy those. But if you hit it right when it first starts, like the season's just changing now, we'll get some transplants. We'll use those. But if you wait like a couple of weeks or a month and the season where you can start the plant is over, you can't buy them out there anymore. But if you have your microgreens growing all the time, you can always pop those out and put them in here, so you don't have to sit and wait. Once the season's gone, you have to wait 6 months until the next one pops around. Or if you have your own garden growing, it's one thing, you can take care of that. But if you have these and you have your microgreens, you can always harvest some, put them in the refrigerator if you want, or you can just leave them growing in the container. And if they get a little bigger, like baby greens, set them out in the garden, keep your reservoir filled up. And then whenever you harvest one of these, you always have some little plants to replace them. And then you just keep going. And then that way you have stuff growing at different times. It's called like succession planting. And when you do it in a garden, it's a little harder because you try to grow things in a section and you're trying to fertilize and compost. And if you don't have a big yard where you can have different sections growing, you can have those on your handrail. Or if you build a little ladder system like I did with 2x4s, where you can have like 6 or 7 of them stacked up, then you can have like 2 of them going at one time, and then 2, a couple weeks later, and 2 a couple weeks later, and it keeps switching them out. And you guys can be growing leafy greens like almost year round, especially if you have like a little porch or something up close to your house. That little ladder system works good because you can stack them all up against the wall. Then if you do get a frost coming through, all you got to do is take a sheet and toss it over the top and drape it down over the whole thing, and it covers the whole thing like that. So it works really well. Let me see what y'all are saying here. Hidden harvest. Another consideration I thought about is if you make some lights waterproof. Okay, so y'all talking about the lights. All of my downspouts are ready to go. Alvarez, cool. Not going to do seeds this fall. I just been too busy, and I'm going, it's 6 packs of microgreens from seed. Yeah, if you don't have time, I've been on the road a lot too, and I've been running out of time, but the past couple of weeks I was able to plant some out. So I've got pak choi and I got a leaf lettuce going. So I'm happy about that. And I didn't know that it was going to cool down like this. So I'm pretty stoked. So I'm going to get some out there. I'm going to put them in the shade where they get like morning sun and a little bit of the shade in the afternoon, because it's still, even when the sun gets up in the afternoon, it still gets really hot out there. So I've got it in partial shade, and I'll take a video of that and show you guys. But I'm pretty stoked because we haven't had lettuce for like a couple of months. We've been growing. We tried the sorrel, which is kind of sour or tart, and used up all the pak choi, harvested, and then we had the storm coming through, and so we thought we had to strap everything down. So we went through and harvested everything. So our garden's pretty much empty except for the microgreens I started, and we saved a couple of plants. But what we did mostly is just harvest everything, and I broke everything down. I have a small NFT system. I don't know if you guys, most of you know about hydroponics, know what an NFT system is. It's basically like this, except with a pump, and it flows a little bit of water, across it, your nutrient solution. Love this program. Enjoy your teachings. Awesome. Appreciate it, Angela. Thanks. I'm working on a new factory starting very soon. Oh, cool. Cool, Brad. Yeah, perpetual growth and planting. So that's what I love. And with the temperature down here, if you can work with the heat, you can keep plants growing like almost year round. We don't have where like it gets cold and then it snows and then everything has to be grown inside. But with Brad's lights there, you can grow stuff inside. Cool. Grew iceberg lettuce, but it grew a couple days too long. Yeah, that's one thing you gotta watch with lettuce. What do you call it? It'll bolt like really fast with this heat, especially here in Florida. Jim, which dollar store do you find the green boxes? It's called the Dollar Tree, I think. And I think you can look online if you can't find it where you're at, and you can order them and they'll deliver it to the store where you're at. But you have to order a whole case, and I think that's 24 of them, but they're $1 a piece. And they don't charge you for shipping if you go and pick it up. So they'll drop it off at the store, so it'll be $24 plus tax. Also, I'm going to do one more video coming up because people keep asking me about that, stressing out about the Dollar Tree. The reason why I was using these is because they came out there nice and square, and you know, I inverted a lid. It fit just right. But really, any container you can find that has a deep lid will work just fine. So if you don't find this, you know, my wife likes them because they all look the same and they look kind of cool. But if you're just practicing and just growing, just any kind of container with a lid that's about 1 inch deep or 3/4 of an inch deep will work. Because I know a lot of the Dollar Tree stuff and the green, I think they had green, red, and blue for like years, and we all used that. And then all of a sudden, I think they have like, it's like red, black, and some odd color. So, you know, black will work pretty cool because it blocks out a lot of the light, but it doesn't look as nice as the green. I just left the Dollar Tree. Okay. Yeah, we get a lot of stuff. I love the Dollar Tree. Are you making an NFT video soon? Vegas man. Yes, I am. Like I said, when the storm came through, we harvested everything and we broke it down. So I figured that'd be a good time, break it down, clean it, and put it back together. So we've got it broken down. I filmed all of that. Now we're waiting for the transplant. So we're going to put it back together, film that, and then I'll put that out. So probably within the next couple of weeks, we'll have that with the NFT system. And that works really well. You know, everybody keeps popping on, like people aren't familiar with the cracking method, and they pop on. They're like, you know, you don't need circulation, you don't need aeration and all of that. And I'm like, no. And they go, or they'll pop on and say, you need it. You need it. I'm saying, well, you don't. You know, I've got like 2 years of video showing that you don't need it. I said, it is better. So if you guys can do it, I do have an NFT system, and it does work better than this alone. But like I said, I'm on the road a lot. And if I'm on the road and the power goes off, it stops, the nutrients stop flowing in it and everything dies. I don't have the money to put backup systems and alarms and 2 pumps or whatever, you know, to see, you know, if one trips, another one pops on. And if the power goes out, it doesn't matter how many I have on. You know, if I don't have solar power to it, it's going to, everything's going to die anyway. So that's why I have the crack key systems, is because a couple of times that happened, I was away for a week and came back and my entire crop was dead. So this way, if I come back, the last time it popped off, everything kind of wilted, but I had these sitting around and these were all fine. So that's why I like to have a mixture. Got you back. Cool. I left the dollar store. I recently found out that my gut bacteria is way off and I need to eat more greens and fermented foods. Hydroponic garden should be for me. Yeah, definitely would. But that's the neat thing, is if you can learn how to do something like this where it's nice and simple. You know, if you have to plant something in the garden, you know, that's fantastic. I'm not dissing traditional gardens. Those are fantastic. But some people get older, they can't bend down, they can't plow, till the ground, they can't compost. They're or carry in, you know, bags of mulch or manure or whatever you have to do. This is pretty simple. You know, these are light. The nutrients come mixed up. You just have to mix them up in a little bucket, get a gallon of nutrients and pour it into here. If you're growing them yourself, you just pop out the little microgreens and put them in there. You don't have to get down on your knees and dig in the dirt. And if you get the transplants, you just take them and just hose off the roots. Real simple, and just pop them in here. You're ready to go. So it works for a lot of people. We still have a traditional garden that we grow some herbs and that in. And, you know, that's always nice too. So I've got a mixture of everything. Like I said, just because I do this, I share this with y'all because there's millions of videos about traditional gardening. You can find it out there. There's millions of videos about traditional hydroponics. It's all out there. So I come in here and I just talk about this because, you know, there's not too much of that. And I share that with you. And if you need to find the other stuff, I can point you in the right direction. Then I'm not trying to make, you know, 400 videos. Alrighty. So I've got those winners. I'm going to pick one more winner. I'll go ahead and post it. Is everybody in the Keep On Growing? I've got a Facebook group. I was going to post it in there, or I've got a Facebook page too that's just Keep On Growing. If you look on Facebook and you type in Keep On Growing in a search, one of those should come up. Make sure that it's a gardening one, that you see me, you recognize me, because sometimes Keep On Growing with a G will be about kids and daycare. There's a couple of other websites that have been around there for years that I didn't know about. But if you go on YouTube and look up Keep On Growing without the G, you should find one of either my group or my page, and I'll go ahead and post the winners on there. And after we get these made and packed up and shipped off, I'll go ahead and have another contest. I think there's a couple of people said they didn't know about it. So sorry about that. This was going on for about 3 weeks. I think it was 3 weeks. Sorry about, that you didn't win. I'll figure something out. Maybe I'll give away a couple more of those, and we'll have another drawing like in a couple of weeks. But if not, y'all check out Brad, Hidden Harvest Grow Lights. He's always giving away grow lights over there too. All righty. Anybody got any questions or anything? Or anybody growing stuff? Let me check through here real quick. Which Dollar Tree? Oh, man, downspouts. Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico. Where are y'all from? Where's everybody from? I know Jim. I know Jim's from Florida. And let's see, Bonnie, I think I know where you're from. Vegas, man. That one's pretty simple to figure out. TN Bushcrafter, is that Tennessee? Tim Keys. Is there favorite nutrients that I've heard you talk about them? Yep, Bonnie, Pennsylvania. Angela, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Cool. Connie, Florida. Yeah, I'm here in Florida, so you should be able to grow the same way. Hey, Danielle, how are you doing? Michigan. Linda from Ontario, Canada. You said now the people up in Canada somebody in here said that winter was already starting for them. Tennessee. LaGrange, Georgia. I lived up towards Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta for a few years, and I was up in Albany, Georgia for about 14 years. Tennessee. Okay, somebody asked about nutrients, the favorite nutrients. Angela. Yeah, my favorite that I use right now is Master Blend. If you order it, I ordered it from Morgan County Seeds or on Amazon. I didn't put a link in this one. Like I said, I just popped on live. I'll come later and I'll put the link. But if you go to any of my other videos, it's got a Amazon store, and there's some Master Blend you have to get. But if you get Master Blend tomato formula, you're going to have to get calcium nitrate too, which is 1500, and then Epsom salt, which you can get just at the local drugstore or in the nursery. They've got plants, the Epsom salt, but they're basically the same thing. And you have to mix them. And we usually go 12 grams of the Master Blend and calcium nitrate and 6 grams of the Epsom salt per 5 gallons of water. In the Amazon store, if you click on one of the other videos and you go to Amazon, there's a little pack, and that's what I bought the last time. And I did a video, my last giveaway, when I was giving away, Brad gave us 2 grow lights to give away. I was talking about the nutrients. They've actually got a pack that comes, it's a 2.5 pound pack, and it comes with the Master Blend and the Epsom salt already mixed together. So that's part A. And then the calcium nitrate is part B. So you just have to take those and mix them together. I think for 5 gallons of water, it was something like 18 grams of part A and 11 grams of part B. And pretty simple. I think that pack ran a little over $20, and it makes about over 400 gallons of nutrients. So pretty cheap for $20. And if you really get into where you're going to, if you look back at some of my old videos, I had plants everywhere. I was growing all kinds of stuff. And when I first started, I ordered a big 25-pound bag of Master Blend, and the calcium nitrate, I was ordering little 10-pound, 5 and 10-pound bags. But that big bag of Master Blend lasted me about 5 or 6 years. So it was I think $40, 40 or 50, with shipping. About 5 or 6 years of growing, all the plants, and that's all I needed. See, when you talk about the other stuff, you have to go and get a traditional gardening, and you have to get compost and fertilizer and all the different things that you have to get. With this, you get that set of nutrients. It's just that and water, and you're done. So you call it done. So that's all you need, and you can set that right on a shelf, and you're set to grow plants. Not quite zone 5. My AC on today. Yeah, the AC is kicking over here too. Hey, John, how are you doing? Hope you had fun. I know you're cruising all around. You on your way home? Rob, hey, John. Okay, got to run. Okay, cool. We'll catch you later, Simple Grow. Appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, no problem, Angela. Yeah, so that's the one that I use. Hey, that's my wife. Hiya. Art is fun. But yeah, cool. So if anybody's got any more questions, home now. Cool. Cool, John. I know you've been having some fun in that. I saw you posting some things online. If anybody doesn't have any questions, I had that drawing. Like I said, I'll get go back and redo it and do that one and try. Like I said, it was just for United States. I wish I could ship stuff all over. I'll check and see if it's not too bad. I might ship it to Canada this time, but we'll see. And what I'll do is I'll post all the winners on Keep On Growing on Facebook, either my group, if y'all can join. Just go over there and just request it, and usually I recognize all your names and I just let you in, or the page, which is a public page, so you can go check that out. I'll post the winners over there too. And if you guys want me to have another contest, if you want more of these or this, like I said, if you want grow lights, head over to Hidden Harvest Grow Lights. He's always having giveaways, and let me know what you want and then what kind of content you want. I haven't started, like I said, I've only started pak choi and lettuce and some collards this year so far. If you guys want me to try something different, go ahead and DM me or leave a comment or post it somewhere what you want me to try, because in a couple of weeks I might start, getting some more stuff, depending on how the weather holds up, if it's going to be really hot or if it's going to cool down a little bit, I might plant some more. And right now I'm just enjoying this temperature. Like I said, y'all said, in a couple of days it's going to warm back up, but it's really nice right now. So, all us gardeners, we get excited as soon as it starts to cool down and there's some kind of inkling that we can get out there and start growing again. Let's see. Hey, would kale have too long of roots? Actually, Angela, the longer the roots, the better. Because it gets down there and it can stay in there. And usually like this, you can keep this filled up, and you don't want to fill it all the way up because you need a little space in there. You want to leave a little gap at the top, like about 3/4 of an inch at least. And you can let it go down a little, like between 1/2 and 3/4. But when you first plant these out, if the roots aren't long enough, if they can't touch the nutrients, and if you have the NFT system, which we're going to show in a couple of weeks, I'm going to put that back together. It's not filled up with nutrients. It's called NFT, is nutrient film technique. That means there's a film, just a little shallow bit of nutrients flowing across the bottom. So you got a pump and it pumps it in. So it keeps it moving, which is good. It keeps it aerating. But it's just down here. So if you got real short roots and you plant it like in the NFT, the downspout that we have, the roots won't reach down to the nutrients. So the longer the roots, the better. And then here, if you have it like that, as long as you leave that little air gap, these roots can be as long as they want. If it gets too crowded in here, you can always pick it up and trim them a little and pop them back in. It's not going to hurt it. Okay, cool. Appreciate that, Keely. That's a Facebook group. If anybody wants to join, just request it, and we basically let you all in. And you got whatever you guys are growing. If you're doing traditional gardening, or if you're doing hydroponics, or if you're doing Kratky, or if you're doing like deep water culture, whatever you're doing, if you want to share the things that you're working on, you're proud of what you're growing, pop in that group and just share it with people. If you got questions, I don't pop on here live too often. But if we're in that group, there's a lot of other people. If I don't know the answer, there's a lot of other people that are willing to jump on there and answer too. So if you want to share what you're growing, or you got questions, or you're just starting this out and you think that you might have questions along the way, go ahead and jump on that Facebook group and show some pictures. There's a lot of people that have tried this. Dr. Kratky started this in gallon containers. And this was I was just trying something different. And now that some people have seen this, they've tried it in different ways too. People have tried different things and they've been sending me pictures. So it's pretty cool to see what people have taken and switched it to fit their needs. Like me, I did this because I had a porch with long handrails. There are 8 feet in between of them. So I could cut these into 8 feet, and I could have those in between each pole all along my porch. It was pretty cool. So that worked for me. Some of you might not have a handrail, or might not have something. You can have something bigger or smaller. Hey, Danielle. Cool. We'll see you later. All right. Appreciate it. Yeah, go have dinner. Yeah, like I said, I wasn't really planning on being on here too long. I know it's Sunday, it's football and everything. So appreciate anybody just coming on here. I was just going to do that drawing. Sounds great. Would you recommend anything else for smoothies? Yeah, we're going to start that. My wife, she's the one who makes the smoothies. Me, you really don't want my recipe because I'm pretty lazy because I'm so busy all the time. I'll go out and grab whatever greens I can, or if it's spinach in the refrigerator, I just load it up with greens, and I take a little bit of fruit. We usually have fruit in the freezer. So I take a little frozen fruit, and that makes it a little cold. I don't like my smoothies like too cold, and I'll put a little bit of fruit in with it, and just put a little water so that it can blend up. And I just blend it up. I might put a little lemon, lemon peel. I might just squeeze a little bit of lemon, and I might put ginger, a tiny bit in there. I love fresh ginger in it, and I blend it up and I drink it. And if it doesn't taste the greatest, I just think that's my medicine, and I just chug it down. And then sometimes it tastes really good, and sometimes it tastes like a blended up salad. So I'm not the best at making smoothies because I'm not real particular about the taste. I'm usually in such a hurry. I blend up whatever and chug it down, just like those shakes. People used to make the shakes and put like a raw egg or something in it and just chug it before work. I do the same thing with my smoothies. Now, my wife will sit there and put in different things and different fruit and chia and flaxseed and all kinds of things so she's the one to talk about. And people have been asking, so we're going to start posting a couple of recipes. If you saw a couple of weeks ago, I posted a little vegan meatball recipe. That was just a test, putting that out there. Some people watch it, and about 500 people watch it. So, that's pretty good. So we might go ahead and start making smoothie recipes. And then all the stuff that we're growing, I can make spring rolls, or we put them in soup or salads and everything. I'm going to start filming that and start sharing recipes, and maybe like on Monday or Thursday, or I'll pick a day, that we'll just post recipes. That way the people that aren't interested in it, when they see the notification go up and they're not interested in watching a recipe, they don't have to click on that day. And if they know that Monday is going to be a gardening one, then they'll click on that. So I'll try to be a little more consistent. But I've got a lot of people have been asking about recipes. So my wife said that if I help her with her arts and crafts channel, that she'll help me over here and do some smoothie recipes and other recipes too. I have a lot planned. I have severe food allergies. Yeah, so yeah, she's been doing that. Smoothies are always easy as long as a little apple or grape juice. Yeah. If you want to just put a little bit of apple or grape juice for a little sweetness and a little liquid, and then throw you a bunch of greens in there. I think some people get it a little wrong. They think that it's like dessert, that it's got to taste like a milkshake or something. And they always go out and put like a ton of fruit in there. And you end up getting more carbs in your smoothie than if you would have ate like 12 hamburgers or something. So some people put too many carbs in. And, to me, I'd like to put more greens. Bushcrafter's putting, wheatgrass. Yeah, if you can use wheatgrass, that's awesome. My wife has an allergy, and she tried a shot of wheatgrass one time and swelled up. So we can't do that. But everyone else, if you can use wheatgrass, easy to grow, especially without the soil. The method that we use, real easy to grow. So if you can do that, wheatgrass is awesome. But so my wife's going to do some smoothie recipes, and we're going to put up a couple more. Like I said, we love doing spring rolls. Do you guys eat spring rolls? Like the ones you get with like in the rice wrapper that, you don't cook them. You load them up with, they've got like rice noodles in them, but then you can put any kind of greens. The ones that I've had before are like mostly rice noodles, and they put a little bit of carrot, a little cucumber, and a couple pieces of basil or something. What we do is we put hardly any rice noodles, if any, and we load it up with a bunch of greens and roll it up, a couple slices of carrot or cucumber, whatever veggies you like, and then roll them up in the rice wrapper and then make a dip. And she'll share recipes for the dip in that. Make a peanut sauce is pretty good. But I love spring rolls. Cool. Yeah. My latest addition to the garden for selling the spring rolls, juicy moringa. Yeah, she wasn't supposed to tell everybody yet, but that's where I've been. And I've actually grown a lot of moringa. I don't know if you guys know about that, but supposedly it's supposed to have a lot of health benefits. And, I can't come on here and tell you what's healthy for you, what will work or anything, but I've heard a lot of good things about moringa, and I was looking it up. So I wanted to grow it. And I actually found some seeds in the grocery store. cracked them open. Whoops. Yeah. Cracked them open and planted them and grew them. And you guys are going to, it's going to blow your mind when you see this, but that's another video that I got coming up soon. So I've got a lot of stuff that just needs to be edited and put up. But I think that's pretty cool that you guys can go up to the grocery store. If you can find this there, it was only $1.99. And I've got a whole pot full of like moringa now. So it's pretty awesome. You can order them online if you want. I don't think they're all that expensive, but that's coming up. I don't know if any of you have heard about that. Spring rolls. Yeah, we do the rice wrappers. Carrots, sprouts, shredded. Yep, yeah, and the microgreens, you can put them in. And that, if you saw my last couple of videos, pea shoots and the sunflower sprouts. Sunflower sprouts are awesome in them. So that's going to go in there. I've got to grow some more. I did that with chia seeds too. Yeah. Yep. We're growing some with chia. Chia is an easy one. It's I don't know how you say mucilage. It says that it's kind of like snot or whatever when it gets wet. But that's why people made the chia pets, was because when you flax seeds are the same way. If you get them wet, they get real slimy, and they stay that, and that way the seed, it holds the moisture in, and the seed can germinate. And that's why they use the chia seeds for the chia heads. Remember, we used to have those that they wet it, and then you could smear it on there and it'd stick. And people thought they were adding something on. We didn't know what chia was back, years ago. But flax is the same way. So those are kind of easy. You can put them and just get them wet, and they'll hold the moisture, and they sprout. And I took flax and I eat flax sprouts. If I don't want to go spend a lot of money on a bunch of different seeds, flax is really cheap. Chia is getting cheaper. Chia for some time was like really cheap. And then all of a sudden was this health thing going around, and everybody, they actually had this multi-level marketing thing going around where they were selling chia like really expensive, like $30 for a bag, really, and saying it was micro sliced and all kinds of stuff like that. But now chia is coming back down in the price. So chia is another thing you can get and just sprout, so you want tiny little microgreens. The flax actually grows, and it has a real pretty blue flower. I let some go to seeds, and that was pretty cool. I let a bunch of them. I grew a whole downspout full of them, and it was a bunch of blue flowers. It's pretty cool. I love mung bean sprouts. Yep. And if you guys haven't done mung beans, when you go to any Oriental cuisine and they have bean sprouts, or you see them in the grocery store and you see a little package of them for like $3 or $4, mung beans are like super cheap. You can order them online. I've actually picked some up in some of the Oriental markets. They sell mung beans, and some of them sprout, do pretty well. And I've bought them like a big bag for like 99 cents. And you take them and you just soak them, let them sprout, put them in a little dark, you can put them in a bucket or anything that's going to be covered. Keep them in the dark, because if you grow them in the light, their leaves will start to grow and then it'll be green, and you really don't want to eat that. You want just a sprout. And you keep them in the dark, and the sprout grows longer and longer looking for light. And then they're real simple to grow. Within like seven days or something, you can have your own bean sprouts. So really easy. So it's a mung bean. Or somebody corrected me the last video I did. It's actually mung bean, even though it's spelled like that. Somebody from the UK said, you Yanks over there can't pronounce it right. And they said it's mung. So I said, all right. I didn't know. So mung bean. And they spell it M-O-O-N, sometimes M-O-O-N-G in some of the stores, and then sometimes it's M-U-N-G. Maybe I'll try those. Yeah, definitely try that. And it's just like the stuff you get in the store, and you make your own. And like I said, if you do like succession planning, if you really like them, you can have them going all the time. Real easy to do. Love sprouts, but they're expensive and frequently spoiled. And yeah, that's the problem. Is some people grow them and then they have to ship them. Someone who we watch on here, Pepe, he actually grows them and he delivers them to each store. Over when you get yours, they're probably going to a warehouse somewhere, and then that gets distributed out, and it could have came from anywhere in the country, unless you have one little store that takes local farmers. And I could actually start growing microgreens if I get the chance, and I could actually prepare them and sell them to some of the like Whole Foods or some of the small places like that. Some of you have like little small health food stores in your area. They might get them local, but for the most part, they're coming from somewhere else. So they probably harvested them and then they sat in a little plastic container somewhere for a long time. And by the time you get them, you've got to eat them pretty quick. These microgreens, when you grow them in these little containers, I harvest them and I don't wash them when I first do it, and I pop them in the refrigerator, and I wash them before I go to use them. But I'll pop them in there and they'll last for weeks in the refrigerator. So if you grow your own, you can grow them and leave them growing in the container. What's real cool too is if you make one of these little containers, set that on your table, and while you're eating, you can get a little scissors and cut some and eat them. It's pretty cool. Ben Real, got to go. Yep. Thanks, Angela. Appreciate you coming in. Thanks for questions and everything. I hope I helped you out. Radish, chia, several other forms. Yeah. Radish sprouts are really good. If you guys haven't tried radish sprouts, if you eat radish, you know how it's really strong sometimes. The leaves, the little sprouts taste almost just like a radish, but it's really mild. And you don't have that real, crunch. It's not like getting a big chunk of like raw carrot in your sandwich. You cut the radish sprouts out, sprinkle them on your sandwich, and you get a little hint of spiciness in there without all that real, crunch like a radish. Which, if you like that, that's fine. But I love radish sprouts too. Mustard is the same way. Mustard sprouts. That's what those black containers at the Dollar Tree for. Bean sprouts. Yeah, that'll work good. I might go get a couple. I think I've got one black one to give it a try. Let's see. I mean, sprouting seeds when I buy from the health food store. Yeah, you can use that. Cool deal. See if I missed any comments here. Love sprouts. Yeah, and they're expensive. The microgreens, if they call them microgreens, which is basically a sprout. A sprout, the definition is what they grow those in high moisture. Is kind of like if you get a jar, the way we used to sprout things, like if you can sprout lentils, you can grow your bean sprouts this way. It's just put them in a bottle and rinse them and drain them, but you leave them in there and they're sitting in the moisture. And if it dries out, all the seeds dry out, instead of where if you plant them in the soil, the roots go down to the moisture and the leaves can sprout. If you put them in a bottle, it's called a sprout. And those are more apt to get bacteria. There's more regulations to grow a sprout like a bean sprout than there is to grow microgreens, which is basically a baby plant. A microgreen is just, the little sprout, the very first stage. And the microgreens before that very first two leaves that come out, it's called the cotyledons. And then when the next set of leaves come out that actually look like the leaf of the plant, the first two leaves look like the seed. And then the next leaves come out, they look like the actual leaf of the plant. That's called the first true leaves. Then that's a baby green. So when you have the microgreen, when you have just that cotyledon seed, that's called a microgreen, but basically it's just a tiny plant. So that's basically like growing a plant. And if it's in soil or whatever, the plant's growing up and the moisture's down here. So you're basically cutting it off. And if there's any bacteria growing in here, there's less chance of it being on the microgreen. But if you grow a sprout, you're growing it inside of a jar and you're putting the beans in there or your seeds and you're rinsing it out and you're leaving it in that high moisture environment. So if any mold spores and that get into it, you rinse it out, it can still be in there and still be growing. And then when you take it and you put it into the container, like at the grocery store, there's more chance of a bean sprout having mold issues or bacteria than there is a microgreen. So if you go to sell it, I don't know if it's everywhere around the United States, around the world, but I know here in Florida, there's a lot more regulations on selling a bean sprout than there is for a microgreen. And they seem about the same, but that's the difference between the two. I love radish sprouts. Yeah, and portobello steaks. We grill up the little portobellos and put them on. That's really delicious. Oh, wow. I have a ton of plastic bottles. I was going to build like a hydro self-watering system that hangs from my bay window. Just haven't done it yet. Yeah, that'd be cool. What's that called, Bonnie? It was like an open source thing I saw years ago. Window farms or something. It's where somebody had an idea, like Dr. Cracky had this idea, and they put that out to everybody. And everybody tried different things. That's just like this, where people are learning this, and then they're showing me different pictures, and people are showing different ways that they did the window farm. The only thing is that you have to come in every day and either take some water and pour the water at the top and let it drizzle down, through all the containers into a reservoir. or the bottom one. And then the other option is that you hook up a little pump and a reservoir at the bottom, which is basically like the NFT system, except instead of being closed like this, it's in open bottles, and it pumps up to the top and then dribbles down. The problems with that I saw was that a lot of people just got like Coke bottles, which are clear, and they put like hydrogen or clay pebbles in it, and it's clear. So as water comes down and you have it by your window where the light's at, that those would start to form algae. And then they, it looks real pretty when you first put it up and everybody loves them. Then all of a sudden it starts to grow algae, which the algae growing inside of there is not going to hurt it too much. It might eat up some of your nutrients, but then people don't like it because it's a bunch of green bottles sitting there. So what they did was they had to like color the green just like we do with this, block out the light. So if you do that, you might want to paint those bottles or wrap them in aluminum foil or do something like that. Yeah, I have plans saved up on my laptop. Okay, cool. Yeah, let me know if you do that and shoot me a picture. Like I said, go to our Facebook page and post it over there for all of us. I found a huge white truffle in my yard. Holy mackerel, are you serious? That's awesome. That is awesome. Free truffles. It's a lot of money. Who have a local business grow sprouts. Cool. That's cool if you have somebody really close that does, and you can get them fresh all the time. But a lot of people don't have that option. Sprouting is cheap and easy. Yep, you got to know how to do it right. I'm eating 4 different types. Awesome, awesome. Salad watching. I'll send you. Cool. Beginner's guide to growing sprouts. Oh, awesome. Appreciate that. Who were the winners? I just got out of the hospital, so I missed it. Patricia Page. Let's see. I've got 3 winners right now. Is Leopolda Fowler, Grace Santini, and DD Sabin. And I've got to I've got to draw one more because one was actually somebody who entered from Canada. And I might still do that. I'm going to check and see how much the shipping was, but I had it just for the United States. So I'm going to check on that because the other one was like from Alaska too. So it's probably going to cost me an arm and leg to mail all these off. My ebook. Okay, so it's your ebook. Cool. Appreciate that. Came up to my house about 10 feet away from little garden space. Oh, nice. Do those, is that, I mean, a truffle, that's a mushroom. So that's basically like the mycelium or whatever's growing inside the soil. And a mushroom is actually like the fruit. After you pick that, do you think like next year or another, or when you go back out, there might be more of them like in the same spot? I don't know much about truffles. There's all kinds of weird mushrooms in our yard. Yeah, don't eat any of them, Bonnie, unless you really know what you're doing. Like chanterelles are delicious mushrooms. I love buying chanterelles. And under the oak trees, after it rains, they pop up. But there's another one that looks just like it. It's called a jack-o'-lantern. And I don't want to try and explain the difference between it, to people, because if people get it wrong, then they're going to say I poisoned them. But there's one that looks exactly like it, except for some small difference. And if you don't know, you'll get really sick. So if you don't have any idea, if you don't try any and don't even handle them, because there's some that are really poisonous. I don't know where it is, where I can sell it. Oh, that'd be pretty cool if you could sell it. I mean, I saw something weird, but where people were selling it because it's really high priced and all of that too. And they actually have like a market, they have like dealers or something to do it. I'll pay for the shipping on mine. Haha. Okay, Gary. Cool. Yeah. Well, if I would have known that, I would have, offered next time. Maybe I'll do that. I'll have the next contest and say these things are all free. And if you guys don't mind picking up the shipping, then I can do it worldwide too. That's another idea. And then I can just email them. We can contact each other and find out what the shipping is going to be. The white truffle is bigger than my fist. Holy mackerel. Wouldn't I mean, you're probably talking like hundreds or maybe even thousands of dollars for that, right? I've seen someone going around with them, like, a small little toolbox and had them like carefully placed in there and selling them to chefs. Maybe you might be able to find a chef, some kind of a high-end restaurant or something that's close around you. Supposed to be formed from pig manure. Cool. No, I didn't know that. The thing I heard was that it was pigs that could find it because they had a sensitive smell, and people actually take pigs out into the forest and they'll sniff around, and when they find one, they'll start digging, and then they got to try and pull the pig off of it and dig before, because once the pig gets a hold of it, like you're talking about, like, hundreds of dollars, that the pig can just, and be gone. No, I don't understand. I don't. And the poisonous and non-poisonous look so similar. Yeah, they do. Yeah. Yeah. So if you don't know, stay away from them. As a boy, I was told to only go mushroom hunting with a very old mushroom hunter. Yeah, exactly. Mushrooms are finicky. You never know when they'll pop up in it. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like the chanterelles. We used to find them like in a certain spot, and like like the next time it rained or the next year, and that they'd never be there again. But um, if there are a bunch of people that forage them. I mean, and they do really well. I mean, they go out and they know what they're looking for. I wish I knew the difference. It's just I'm so afraid. It's not like you eating the wrong pepper or the wrong tomato or something. You can actually pick something that's going to kill you. So it's I envy the people that can do that. Thanks for your time and kindness. Healthy as well, wealthy. Okay, cool. Chanterelles grow on wood or root systems. Yep, jack-o'-lanterns usually do not. Okay, yeah, that's the name of the other one. Just keep in mind there are bold mushroom hunters and old mushroom hunters, but no old bold. Yep, yeah, exactly. And I'm one of the. I'm not going to be like an old one because I'm too afraid that I'll make a mistake with one. Like chanterelles picking so many and getting used to doing it and then getting careless one time. So that would just be me. They grow on a wood or root systems. Okay, that's kind of cool. And then there's something else about the gills or something. And like I said, I don't really want to tell anyone because if they make a mistake, they're going to come back and blame me. I have been foraging for about 5 years. Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, that's cool. If you want to share that, if you want to join the group and share with people, and that I think that's pretty cool. People, somebody just picked morels. I don't know if there's a copycat one that looks like that that's dangerous, but a morel's real distinctive look. And I saw just like sometime last month they found a bunch of morel mushrooms, so that's pretty cool. But I love mushrooms. All righty. What time is it? We're going on about an hour. Appreciate y'all stopping in. Anybody have any more final questions than that? As long as I'm in here, or like I said, if you guys want to join the Facebook group, my wife left it in the chat there somewhere. Jump over there, and if you got questions, just pop them up over there. I try to get in there about once a week, but between this, I've got another group that I'm taking care of, and my wife's doing her channel. I find it kind of hard to get in there every single day, but I try to get in as much of it as I can. And there's a lot of other people, or if you guys, some of you are more experienced and you want to join the group and you don't mind helping people too, there's always people there with questions. Not just this, but traditional gardens and traditional hydroponics too. So that would be really appreciated. Oregon has a lot of truffles. I read a basic rule of thumb, regardless of gills. Okay, if you see them, it's poison. Okay, so no gills. All right, cool. That's the group right there. So you guys, if you're not in there, you can join that group. Like I said, we don't do anything. Don't go in there. We don't try to sell stuff. If anybody wants, they know my ebook. Is always listed in the description. Most of my videos. I don't go in there and try to sell. That's a place where we go in there and try to help each other. So if you want to help each other, or you want to learn anything, or just pop in there and just post pictures of what you're growing, just join that group. Real laid back, and it's nothing. There's not a whole lot of rules except that we're just kind to each other and just sharing. I'll help with some sprout questions. Okay, cool. Really appreciate that. So if anybody pops in there and then has any questions about that, that'll help. Yeah, so you guys go out. What time is it? 6 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I don't know what part of the United States you're on. I'm East Coast, 6 o'clock. Some of you still might be the afternoon. Go out there, enjoy the rest of your day. Let's see, we share all kind of tips for that and methods and pictures. Yeah, all kinds of pictures in there. And if you guys have any questions, like I said, I'll have another drawing pretty soon. And I've got a lot of videos. I've got one with the pak choi and lettuce we're going to be planning out. I've got one with the moringa. It's going to be coming out. And I've got one. We built a shade house. out of something you probably wouldn't expect, and you're going to see some little hints of that pictures. But I've actually filmed me building the entire thing, and I'll put that out too. So if anybody's interested in that, that'd be cool. And my wife is going to start having more recipes on the channel if you guys are interested. If not, like I said, if you see a notice pop up for Keep On Growing and it says some recipe, if you're not interested, don't bother clicking on it. But just let y'all know, it's going to be a little bit of mix of things coming in here. Welcome to Thailand. Okay, cool. Another picture. All right, cool. Yeah, so y'all have a great week. I might try and pop on here once a week and answer questions. And as the season gets on and it gets a little cooler and cooler and we start growing more out there, instead of having the live stream in here, I'm going to try and run my internet cord outside and pop the computer outside in the garden and have the live stream from out there so that I can pick up things and actually show you instead of having like fake plants in here. So that'd be cool. All right, let's see. Welcome to Thailand. Time to wake up, to make up and heat up some salsa. Awesome. That's cool. I love salsa. Let's see. It's not plenty, very choice edible mushrooms, very, very visual gills. Okay, cool. All right. Good night. Oh, Danielle, you're back. Have a good night. All right, everybody. Have a good night. Appreciate y'all coming in. Get out there, live to inspire, keep on growing. Still cooking. All righty. Catch you next time.